My dear brothers and sisters, today's readings invite us to feast upon the wisdom and nourishment that God generously offers to all who seek Him. In the first reading from the book of Proverbs, we hear the personification of wisdom, who has prepared a sumptuous banquet, inviting all who are simple or lacking in understanding to come, eat of my food, and drink of the wine I have mixed. This is a powerful image of the abundance and generosity of God's wisdom, which is freely available to those who are willing to partake. The psalmist echoes this theme, declaring, "Taste and see that the Lord is good. Bless the man who takes refuge in Him." God's goodness and provision are not reserved for the privileged few, but are open to all who turn to Him in faith. The psalmist reminds us that those who fear the Lord and seek the Lord will be satisfied, for the Lord is a faithful shepherd who cares for His flock. In the second reading from Ephesians, Paul encourages the believers to be very careful how you live, not as unwise but as wise, making the most of every opportunity. This wisdom, rooted in the fear of the Lord, is not a dry or joyless pursuit, but one that leads to a life of worship, thanksgiving, and the filling of the Spirit. Finally, in the Gospel of John, Jesus declares, "I am the living bread that came down from heaven. Whoever eats this bread will live forever." This is a powerful image of Christ as the true nourishment for our souls, the sustenance that satisfies our deepest hungers and quenches our thirst for meaning and purpose. My brothers and sisters, these readings call us to feast upon the wisdom and life that God generously offers. Just as the Israelites in the wilderness were sustained by the manna from heaven, so too are we invited to partake of the living bread that is Christ Himself. By feeding on Him, we are nourished, strengthened, and transformed, receiving the grace and wisdom we need to navigate the challenges of our lives. Yet this feasting is not merely an individual pursuit. As Paul reminds us, we are called to live wisely, making the most of every opportunity to worship God and encourage one another. The wisdom and nourishment we receive are not meant to be hoarded, but to be shared with a world that hungers for the truth and love of God. So let us heed the call of wisdom and come to the table that God has prepared. Let us taste and see the goodness of the Lord, feasting on the living bread that is Christ, and may we, in turn, become living bread for a world that desperately needs to be fed.